Well, I guess I better start planning for this year's light show. Let's see if I can find the controller I want. The controller I need isn't in stock. It's okay, I'll check back a week from now. The controller's still not in stock, but it's probably no big deal. They're probably just busy or something. I'll check back like 3 months from now. Still no controller. That's kind of weird. You know, I'll give it another 3 months. That probably wasn't enough. 1 month from showtime. Let's see if the controller is finally in stock. Still not in stock, but it's no big deal. I'll come back in like 2 weeks from now. Still not in stock, but it's no big deal. I'll come back in a week or so. Okay, 2 weeks till showtime. Let's see, is the controller in stock? Still not in stock. I'll give it 1 more week, and then I'll see if it's in stock. The controller's still not in stock. I regret my decisions. I should have bought a controller months ago. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? There's only a week till showtime. What am I supposed to do? If only there was a video about tips on what I should have done months ago about this.
There is, on Bridgeport's Brightest Lights.
Why are you always in my videos when I'm having a problem? Voice from the sky. Hey everyone, thanks for watching Bridgeport's Brightest Lights. My name is Nick, and on this channel, I show you how to use smart RGB pixels to make any type of display you want on your own house. If you're new here and you don't know how RGB pixels work, I recommend you watch these videos right here because it'll take you through the basics, and the rest of these videos will make a little bit more sense once you know how RGB pixels work. But as you may have guessed by the intro, I'm going to be giving you some tips on what you could do if your controller that you want is out of stock, and different ways you could plan so you won't end up like that one person who doesn't have a controller 1 week before the show. Now before I get into these tips, if you're wondering why Pixel controllers or anything Pixel related has been out of stock for months, I'm going to explain that. But if you want to go right to the tips, then skip to this time right here in the video and those will get you right into the tips. But basically, Pixels are high-tech Christmas lights, you could say, and a lot of microchips are needed for them. You need microchips inside the Pixels. The controllers need microchips, and as I'm sure many of you know, there is a chip shortage. There was a chip shortage a while ago, and we can now start seeing the effects of that, and that's why all the controllers are out of stock. Most of the controllers, either parts or the whole controller, is made in China. Usually it's just a few parts of them, and then those parts are shipped to the United States, and then whoever owns the controller business puts all of them together to make the controller. But a lot of these chips aren't being made now because of some things like the war in Russia and Ukraine. COVID, even though that was a while ago, we could start to see the effects of that now when production stopped a while ago. And without these chips being made, that's why the controllers can't be made, that's why Pixels can't be made, and that is why everything is out of stock. But now let's get right into the tips, and I'm going to start with tip number 1. Tip number 1 when looking for your controller, if it's out of stock, is be consistent when you're looking for it. You can't just be going on your controller's website once a month, maybe even twice a month, and looking for the controllers, because these controllers, if they have a very limited stock, they could come in for a few days and then be gone within days. This actually happened with a different controller I was watching. It came in stock for about 3 days and then it was instantly gone. I'm looking to buy the new version of the F48, and that's been out of stock for a while, and I've made it a habit now. Every morning when I wake up and go onto my computer, the first thing I do is go on Pixel Controller's website to see if the controller's in stock. So what you want to do is be consistent and always be looking on the controller's website, probably once or twice a week. That way you can get it as soon as it comes in stock, and as soon as you see it come in stock, don't put off buying it, buy it right then and there, because I promise you they'll be gone instantly. Tip number 2 is to look for information about the controller. Find out as much information you can on when it's going to be in stock, and if the price might go up when it comes in stock. Any information you can find so you know when it will be in stock so you can buy it instantly. For example, on Falcon Controller's website, they do not post any information, or they haven't, about when the controllers are going to be in stock. It just says this product is no longer available. So if that happens and you can't find any information about it, ask other people for help. This is a really big key. Ask other people if they have any information about these controllers. One thing you can do is go on Falcon Christmas's forum. If you don't know what this is, it's basically a forum where anyone doing light show stuff, they can ask questions if they need help, or if they want to show off something. And there's a lot of people on there that can help you with any questions you might have for your light show. So if your controller is somewhat popular and you feel like there's other people who know stuff about it, it might not hurt to ask a question on there saying, hey, does anyone know when this controller might be in stock? Does anyone know any information about it? You can also look on Facebook groups. There are a lot of good Facebook groups out there for FPP, Falcon controllers, and you could probably ask someone on there too if anyone knows any information about it. But just don't be one of those annoying people that ask every single day for help, or even ask once a week, because people will get tired of giving you the same answer, I don't know when it's going to be in stock. And then everyone just won't want to answer your question when you need help. I'm sure there are other websites you can find where people can help you and give you some answers, but you'll have to find those yourself. But just ask other people for help, and that is exactly what I'm going to do right now. If you happen to know anything about any Falcon controllers, about when they're going to be in stock, I'd really appreciate it if you could put any information about it in the comments. And I'm not just doing this for myself. This could help other people too looking for Falcon controllers. They can go in the comments and see any information you might have. And even if it's for other controllers, cult boards, SAN devices, anything else, put any information about any out of stock controller, and I'm sure that will greatly help other people out. Tip number 3. Find a different way to buy your controller. So if you have one website you know you can buy a controller on, but you can't find it, it's not coming in stock, and they're not giving you any information, you've tried tip 2 with asking people, but no one knows anything about it, then look around for other websites. Other websites might sell your controller and they still might have one. Now that brings us into tip 3.5, if you want to call it, which is finding another way to buy the controller but buying it used. There's actually a spot on Falcon Christmas where you could say, hey, I'm looking to buy this controller used for maybe this many years or used this much, and then say if anyone has any extra ones, I'd be interested in them. And you could end up buying a used controller, which could potentially end up being cheaper, but watch out to make sure that the controller still fully works. Ask people questions, because there are those people that want to scam you into buying a controller that's broken and just get the money. You can also look on eBay. I've tried that, but I haven't had any luck with that. But if you do, just be careful to make sure people aren't raising the prices a ton. But that is a last resort if you can't find it anywhere else. Tip number 4. This is a really important tip that you should always have ready. And this isn't to do with finding your controller, but this is to do with making sure you're not that person who doesn't have a light show ready 1 week before it's supposed to start. And this is have a backup plan for what you could do. For example, I'll explain my backup plan. My plan is to hopefully buy the new version of the F48, like I said. But if that doesn't come in stock, I'm considering buying a cult board that has a few different features but still functions around the same way, so I could still use that controller and possibly buy that controller if this one doesn't come in stock. Another thing you could do is if you already have a controller and you're looking for an additional controller. Now, this tip might only work for Falcon controllers or controllers that can be expanded, but if you need more ports or you were looking for something with differential receivers, you could potentially expand your controller. You could buy expansion boards to add more ports or to add differential receiver outputs, so that way it can kind of function like a new controller, except it has to stay near the other controller, but still it will give you more ports or differential receiver outputs, and that could still function as a great backup plan for people. Plus, expansion boards don't usually go out of stock as fast as the main controllers. And then have a backup plan for your backup plan. If this sounds funny, basically have a backup plan if your backup plan fails. If you can't get the main controller you want, and even the controller you were going to get as your backup plan you can't get, have a plan of what pixels or props you could cut from your show, even though it would be hard and sad to do. What isn't that important? Or maybe find a way you can wire it into other props, which could be harder in some case scenarios, but still allow you to keep those pixels. If you needed an additional controller for more pixels but you can't get it, then find out what are some props that aren't too important to you that wouldn't be a big deal if you cut. Now this is the last resort. I know no one wants to cut props from their show, especially when they took the time to program it, but just keep this in the back of your mind in case everything else fails, so you have a plan and you aren't scrambling a week from when your show is going to start. So to quickly recap, here are all the tips. Number 1, be consistent. Always look on the controller's website as often as you can to see if your controller is coming in stock. So it doesn't come in stock, then go out of stock. Number 2, ask people for help. Ask people for information. Email the company, see if they are willing to share any information. ask questions on Falcon Christmas, ask questions on Facebook groups, and maybe someone will be able to help you and give you information about when your controller will be in stock and about how much it's going to cost when it comes in stock. Tip number 3, see if there's a different website where you might be able to buy a controller from, even though if you've never used it before. Maybe buy your controller used if you can't find it as a last resort. And finally, tip number 4, have a backup plan and a backup plan for your backup plan. See if there's any other controllers you could buy if yours never comes in stock that have the same features, and then see what type of props from your show, even though it would be hard and sad, which ones you could cut from your show if absolutely needed if you can't get your controller in time. So hopefully with all these tips, this will help you find your controller if it's out of stock, and if you don't ever get it, if it never comes back in stock, this gives you some plans on what you could do so you're not scrambling at the last minute trying to get your light show together without a controller. I know this was a shorter video, but I know there were a lot of people struggling to find their controllers, and I hope this helps them. If you have any questions or comments, or you think I left out anything, please put them in the comments. And like I said earlier, if you have any information about any type of controller that's out of stock that you're willing to share, I'm sure everyone, including me, will appreciate it if you'll put that in the comments below too. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.